I'm Liz. I work here at the Sorgetes Library, and I'm here to talk about a few books that I have read and enjoyed and would like to recommend to you. The first is a fiction, and it is called The Music Shop, and it is by Rachel Joyce. I read this several years ago. It is very enjoyable. It's about the power of music and how music connects you to people and can bring healing. And those are things that are all important to me. So I recommended this to many people and everybody liked it. I read this book, which I picked up. It was used. It was a donation and it looked interesting to me. It's a collection of short stories. It's called The Things They Carried, and it's by Tim O'Brien. And the setting of all of these interconnected short stories is the Vietnam War. And that was something I was not actually very familiar about. It never really affected me. This book was extremely powerful. It was a beautifully written book about a very difficult topic. And I recommend this as well. It will move you, and it will, at least for me, it connected me to a time in history that I was very young during, and it affected the people in this book in different ways than it affected me. And it was good to know about that because I actually know a lot of Vietnam vets, and this little introduction of stories helped me to understand a little bit more a period of time that I was an oblivious child during. So I recommend this. Another book that I really enjoyed, that was another donation that we got, but is actually in the library system, is a biography called My Reading Life, and it's by the author Pat Conroy. I have never actually read anything by Pat Conroy except this book, and it was wonderful. I'll just read a little bit on the jacket to whet your appetite. In My Reading Life, Conroy revisits a life of reading through an array of wonderful and often surprising anecdotes, sharing the pleasures of the local library's vast cache with his mother when he was a boy, recounting his decades-long relationship with the English teacher who pointed him onto the path of letters, and describing a profoundly influential period he spent in Paris, as well as reflecting on other pivotal people, places, and experiences. His story is a moving and personal one, guided by wisdom and an undeniable honesty. Anyone who not only enjoys the pleasures of reading, but also believes in the power of books to shape a life, will find here the greatest defense of that credo. So there's Pat, and he has written things that many people know. And this is another book that when I recommended it to people, they loved it. So that is, to me, that's gives credence to this book right there. And it will also springboard you into all these other books that you want to read, because each chapter is about an author or a book. So that in itself is very cool. I also like to listen to books on CD, and one of the ones that I listened to and particularly enjoyed was a book on CD called Himself, and it's by Jess Kidd, and it's set in Ireland, and I love Ireland, and it's read by a fantastic reader, which makes all the difference when you're reading a book on CD. She does a bang-up job narrating this great story. It's set in Ireland, and it involves it's full of rich language, it has ghosts, it has lots of quirky characters, mystery and murder. It's Irish storytelling at its best, read by a wonderful narrator. Jess Kidd also came out with another recent book that I read, didn't listen to, which was also good, called Things in Jars. And last but not least, I am now a grandmother, and I like to read lots of children's books to my grandchildren. And there are lots of fun ones out right now. This book, All Birds Have Anxiety by Kathy Hoopman, is particularly a good book for both adults and children who might be feeling a little anxious these days in particular. And it has really funny pictures and talks about what it feels like to have anxiety, gives lots of suggestions at the end, and it would be a really good book to read just for yourself as an adult, to read with a child. So I recommend that as well. And an author that has been great fun and my grandchildren and my adult friends have particularly enjoyed is an author called Ryan Higgins. This is one of his latest books called We Will Rock Our Classmates, which has this little dinosaur Penelope who in the last book had to learn not to eat her classmates in kindergarten. And this is another book by him called Mother Bruce. So if you just need something light, something distracting right now, take your mind off the world, the state of the world, I recommend these books as well. Thanks for joining me.